Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Nat for Island Living. This morning I'm back in the kitchen, but I won't be cooking my standard meals. Today I'm going to be discussing coffee and coffee making. Actually, I want to share with you my experience growing up in the countryside of Jamaica, where I watched my grandfather pick coffee berries and actually process the coffee by himself to make the coffee drink that we enjoy today. But also, I want to show how that method has developed over the years, and we now use the very convenient, fast, and efficient coffee machines. I have two coffee machines to date, and they are the Keurig single serve and the Tchibo machine. And the Tchibo machine is now available in the US, so I want to do a review and a comparison between the Keurig machine and the Tchibo machine. Let's start first by comparing the coffee process of past and that of today. The very first step of the coffee production process is to pick the ripe red berries from the tree. In Jamaica, we grow Arabica coffee beans all around the island. However, we are famous for and export the Blue Mountain coffee beans. Once the beans are picked, they are sorted, and the ones that do not meet up to standard are taken out and thrown away. The fresh berries are washed and transferred to a large wooden mortar and beaten with a wooden pestle until the outer shell of the beans get removed. In modern days, and in places where the coffee production is done in bulk, the washing of the beans is done by a huge machine. After the thick outer reddish skin of the beans have been removed, the beans are placed to dry and they undergo a second beating or grinding in the mortar to get rid of the other covering where there's still a thick covering, and the second beating in the mortar and pestle helps to get rid of the second covering that is over the beans. The beans are washed again and put to dry, and thereafter they're either packaged for export, or if you are doing it for home consumption, this is where the roasting of the berries begin. In large-scale production, the berries are dried in a large machine to cut down on the drying time. Berries are then roasted over open flames or in a large roasting container. The roasted berries are then cooled, and at this stage, some of the berries are packaged as whole beans and sold to stores and restaurants, where they are then able to use machines that can process these whole beans to make a great tasting cup of coffee. Some of the roasted coffee beans are sold whole as whole beans. Other coffee beans are placed back in a grinder and are grounded until they become what we call ground coffee. Grounded coffee is then placed in a filter paper cheesecloth or strainer, and hot water is poured over the coffee, and the coffee is allowed to brew. This is the way my grandfather did it back in the days, which takes me back to today's topic. Today, we are used to using instant, very convenient coffee machines, and we're going to be looking today at two different brands of machines. My single-serve Keurig machine uses coffee that has already been grounded. Machines which are designed to use grounded coffee are usually built to accommodate sachets or cups which are stuffed with ground coffee. Due to the high cost of these pre-packaged cups and sachets, I have gone online and bought my own little cups, and they're built for each machine separately, so you have to know if you want a cup for the Keurig to order one for the specific machine. But these cups allow you to fill with coffee, that any coffee, ground coffee that you like from the supermarket, and then put that in the machine, and it works just as good as those pre-packaged and sold capsules or sachets or cups that the supermarket will have at a fraction of the cost. This Keurig machine will prepare 2 different sizes of coffee, either an 8-ounce or a 16-ounce cup. The water container is on the side, and the shape of the machine is almost that of a semicircle, yet it is quite small and compact and does not take up a lot of counter space. I have used this Keurig machine for years, at least 5 years, and I have gotten great tasting cups of coffee from it using grounded coffee that I bought in the supermarket, and I've just had nothing but fun using it and using these ground coffee cups. However, I now have a new machine, the Tchibo machine, and this Tchibo machine uses whole beans. And this is the machine here. You can see it uses whole beans, and so this is a new machine for me, and I just like to unpack it and show you guys how it is similar or different to the Keurig machine. So when you order the Tchibo machine, you get 2 free packets of coffee beans, and I chose the dark roast and the regular. So I'm gonna try these out to begin with to see how they taste, and as you can see again, these are whole beans, and so that's a huge difference from the Keurig machine, and I'm expecting to taste a difference in the flavor of the coffee itself, as these should be a bit fresher than, say, the ones that are grounded. So now it's time for the Tchibo machine, and I have already taken it out of the box, and I'm just going to show you the various parts to show you where it is similar to or different from the Keurig machine. To begin with, it's electrical, just like the Keurig machine, so a huge improvement from when my grandfather used to make his own coffee. And this here is the drip pan to catch any excess coffee, and that's also something that the Keurig has. The spout on this machine is different from the one on the Keurig machine. I think a little sleeker, and I don't know, it just looks more modern than the Keurig machine. Another thing you'll notice about the Tchibo machine is that it's much larger than the Keurig machine, both in terms of length and depth, and therefore it will take up more counter space than your average Keurig machine. The water container is at the back of this machine as opposed to the Keurig, which was on the side, and I can see some potential problems with this because it means each time you need to fill the container with water, if the back is against the wall, you're going to have to pull out the entire machine before you can raise out that water container, as opposed to with the Keurig, which is on the side, more convenient. But this packet also comes with a little cleaner to keep your coffee machine clean, and that is a plus. That's definitely a positive thing for this machine. The machine is also an upgrade from the Keurig machine in that it comes with a built-in filter. So it actually filters your water for you, and in this time and age, filtered water is something that is preferred. So I think this filter here in this water container gives this machine an edge over the older Keurig machine. Now, if I didn't mention it before, this Tchibo machine is particularly heavy. At least, I would say it's about 10 pounds. It's really heavy. At the side of the machine is where your used coffee grounds will come out, and of course this is particularly useful compared to the Keurig machine, where people would sometimes use the sachets or cup, and they have to find ways to dispose of those plastic containers. Here, all you have coming out is the ground coffee, and you can use that if you are into farming and put that in your compost. So it's friendlier on the environment to use these whole beans. The power button is neatly placed here on the side. And what else? Right, so this machine will give you more choices in terms of coffee sizes, and so you can have an espresso, which will be very strong coffee but small amount, regular, and a large cup of coffee. And so it gives you more options. You can even just get hot water, or you can do a particular blend with this machine. I think that's cute. Yeah, there is a spout again for that drip, extra drip. What else did I need to cover with this machine? Oh, so on the top is where you would basically pour your coffee in, and the instructions are drawn there, which I think is quite helpful, because sometimes you have people visit your home and they don't know how to use the machine. The Keurig machine does not really have those instructions drawn on the machine, but this machine comes with the simple instructions drawn. So it's basically instructions in picture form that anybody could follow. They just have to go ahead and help themselves to a cup of coffee rather than calling the owner to come and make the coffee for them. And I think this is particularly, I think it's functional, it's practical. It was a great idea. Whoever came up with it, I like it. I definitely think I'm going to have a lot of fun using this Tchibo machine and just savoring the flavors from, whole beans as opposed to ground beans. But of course, I will keep both my machines, my Keurig, which does the ground coffee, as well as the Tchibo machine. And having more is better than having none, or just having one. And so I'm looking forward to sampling and just having different coffee flavors and different coffee tastes each day. So yeah, that's my review on comparing the two machines, and unboxing the Tchibo machine. If you guys enjoyed my video, please remember to give me a thumbs up and to share my video, subscribe to my channel, and until next time, have yourself a great cup of coffee and walk good.